So the last video I posted was a recent trip to the Grenadines, and I wanted to follow that up with some tips that I wish I knew when I was planning my trip. In terms of choosing the spot, we were in New York City. It was winter, it was cold, it was snowing, it was windy. My wife wanted something tropical. I wanted something isolated with wind to go kiteboarding. And basically when you type in Caribbean wind island into Google, you'll find Union Island, and then very quickly thereafter you'll find Jeremy. He's a guy who has a YouTube channel. He set up a kite school out there. Look at some of these shots. Just the picturesque views alone basically sold me on the idea for the trip. So some useful background information. St Vincent is part of the Lesser Antilles, so that's this island group in the bottom right. The country itself is called St Vincent and the Grenadines, and St Vincent is this big island here. That's where the capital, Kingston, is. The Grenadines are these smaller islands down here to the south. You've got islands like Bequia, that seems like a big tourist destination. Moustique and Canawan seem much more exclusive and luxury focused, think mega yachts. Tobago, CAYS, and Mayro, these are beautiful islands for day trips. And then Union Island down in the very south, that's the spot for kiteboarding. So in terms of things I wish I knew up front, basically I wish I knew that this wasn't just a typical tourist destination. It really caters to three types of people. First, sailors. This is an island nation, so obviously everything's set up to explore by boat. All of the infrastructure is really geared towards boaters. Some of these smaller islands had limited hotel choices, didn't have a ton of restaurants, didn't have great restaurants. So I'd think of this as more of an adventure destination for boaters. Same goes for the second group of people, kiteboarders. They're mostly around Union Island, or they're on sailboats going from kite spot to kite spot. The pro tip here is just make sure you have a backup in case there's no wind. We got 4 days of light wind, so have backup activities. Stand-up paddleboarding, hiking, maybe have a scooter or have a rental car so you can get around. If you don't have a boat, look up a taxi service that can take you to some of these other islands. The last group of people are really people going to luxury resorts or all-inclusive resorts. Well, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just totally different than the first group of people. It tended to be a much older demographic. It doesn't tend to be a place that focuses on partying, and so when you stumble into one of these islands and it really caters towards that person, you probably want to know in advance. So recommendations, stuff I really liked or stuff I might watch out for. First, the Anchorage Hotel. It's right next to the airport. This is a great place for people who are primarily kiteboarding and they want to stay in a bungalow right next to Kite Beach. So if you're just relaxing and on vacation and want a great place to hang out, I would say this isn't your spot. There's not a beach. The food isn't great. The staff is incredible, but this is really for kiteboarders and for people who need to get a break from being on a boat. In terms of great food, I would highly recommend PETIT RAMBEAU. They have a bunch of beach barbecues out there. It's a couple different spots, Alfonso's, Carlos, Romeo, Captain Kojak. It was awesome. We got fresh lobster, we got fresh fish curry, jerk chicken, amazing veggies. I wish I'd known about this earlier in the trip. So in terms of smaller islands to check out for day trips, I would highly recommend Tobago CAYS. Obviously, you can go check out the food. You can go there for snorkeling, stand-up paddleboarding. There's some nice beaches. I'd also go to check out Mayro. The beach there is really nice. Palm Island is beautiful and it has a great beach, but it's got a pretty big all-inclusive resort on it with a much older demographic. So if you go there, don't be surprised, or if you check in at the hotel there, you're going to be in for a different experience. So last but not least, JT Pro Kite Center. This was the guy who kind of got me interested in the trip. This place is great. If you're looking to kiteboard, they have extremely knowledgeable instructors. The support teams are amazing. The equipment they have, each student has their own boat or their own dinghy. They have helmets with radios in them. Honestly, if you're going to learn kiteboard and you do it this way, you're going to learn much faster than somewhere else. I can't recommend this enough. These guys were amazing. Cool, so overall, what do we think and would we go back? We loved it. We couldn't believe how beautiful the place was. The people were nice. When you find the food is delicious. But if we went back, we'd go on a boat. It's going to be cheaper than a hotel. It's a much better way to get around. You're going to meet a lot of other people that are more in that adventure travel vibe. So that's the way we would do it. Hopefully this was useful. If you've got any questions, throw them down below in the comments. I'll try to get back to you. And I hope some of you guys get to check out this spot.